The sun was sinking low, casting soft amber light across the neighborhood as I pulled into my driveway after a long, demanding week on duty. I parked my truck slightly at an angle, knowing I would only need a few minutes to unload my gear. The evening was peaceful, the air calm, carrying the quiet comfort that comes with returning home. But peaceful evenings never lasted long where Karen lived. Trouble always seemed to follow the sound of her footsteps. I had barely opened the tailgate when she emerged from her house, marching toward me with the determination of someone who believed she was the guardian of every rule ever written. She pointed sharply at my truck, accusing me of blocking community access and violating neighborhood regulations. Even though I was standing on my own property, I tried to explain gently, but she talked over me, insisting that people like me thought they were above the law. I almost laughed at the irony, but I held my silence, letting her finish her performance. With dramatic flair, she pulled out her phone and loudly announced that she would be calling the police. She wanted the entire street to hear her, to feel the weight of the power she believed she had. She exaggerated every detail as she spoke to the dispatcher, describing me as uncooperative and reckless, painting a picture far from reality. I simply continued unloading my equipment, calm and collected, almost curious to see how the moment would unfold. A patrol car arrived only minutes later. The officer stepped out casually until his eyes landed on me. His posture shifted immediately. Gone was the relaxed demeanor. In its place came sharp attention and immediate respect. Before Karen could begin her rant, the officer addressed me with the formal tone reserved for high-ranking personnel. Karen blinked in confusion, her confidence freezing midair. The officer listened to her complaint only out of courtesy, then explained firmly that I was not only within my rights, but that I held a position far above anything she imagined. He reminded her that misusing emergency lines for exaggerated claims could carry real consequences. Suddenly, her loud authority melted into thin air. She stuttered an apology, her shoulders sinking as she realized she had threatened the law to someone who outranked the very people she was trying to summon. The officer gave me a respectful nod and left quietly. Karen stood frozen for a moment before retreating to her house, her pride bruised and her assumptions shattered. The neighborhood, once filled with her unnecessary noise, softened back into calm. As the last light of day slipped behind the rooftops, I finished unloading my gear and breathed in the silence she finally left behind. Some lessons arrived gently, others with impact, and Karen had just discovered that sometimes the person you try to intimidate is the one who commands the authority you pretend to wield. And for the first time in a long time, the street felt peaceful, honest, and beautifully still.